a bit. Speaking of Intonation, this brother was at the Intonation Gala last year at Sarabande, and it was really, really dope. He's a multi hyphenate. I'm not looking at anything that's on my screen. He's a multi hyphenate. He is one of the busiest musicians in Chicago, not just for the music stuff, but his advocacy, his work with the youth, his curatorial splendor, the fact that he really has his hand in a lot of things, way more than when he sat in this chair a few years ago when he visited with us. He's done a whole lot, man. And I bumped into him at the Promontory a couple of weeks ago, and he's like, "Look, brother." And I'm like, "Say no more. Let's do it." And then he reminded me the other day. He's like, "I have you in my calendar." I'm like, "Yes, let's make it happen." Ladies and gentlemen, it's my pleasure and honor to welcome in Sam Thousand here on News from the Service Interest Radio Show. Brother Sam, what is going on?
Man, everything is going on right now. I'm super blessed and grateful. It's a planning season. It's been a busy year. But yeah, just a lot of reflection, a lot of introspection, a lot of big thoughts and ideas of inspiration, and just a lot of opportunities for what's moving forward. So it's a lot going on.
You were instrumental in getting a lot of projects, getting eyes on a lot of projects, not yours specifically, but just getting people up and saying, "Hey, look, this is something that's happening. Why are we not, supporting it?" I was talking earlier about supporting local venues, small venues particularly, because this city, if nothing else, is built on the notion of I can go outside of my house down the street and see somebody play. Mm-hmm. It's been that way forever. With the Promontory closing, that's going to change, at least on the south side anyway. I don't want to get away from what I said. I want to talk about you, but I do need to kind of get this part out. What are we not seeing when it comes to the small venue? Why aren't people really valuing that opportunity to literally walk out of their home and walk around the corner and go see Sam Thousand play at the Promontory?
Yeah, man. And so I'm guessing that you may be referring also to maybe like a dwindling of attendance and support for these type of spaces. I think even when it comes to the Promontory as an example, or as like our main example, Promontory was kind of like an anomaly on the south side. It was its only, one of a kind, and there wasn't a movement of venues like what Chicago was built from, right? So we used to have the corridors, we used to have, the walkable, theater districts, literary districts, dance and burlesque. Those spaces used to be walkable, but they also used to be like destinations. Mm-hmm. And I think Promontory over time, just like in some cases other venues that were kind of like one of a kind, or just like the only, they kind of got saturated, and maybe people felt that it just needed more. They needed a bigger reason to come out. I think sometimes it's just people being people, and the human condition, and sometimes that is taking things for granted.
Yeah, and oh yeah, because we're bearing witness to it there now, where folks are like, "Oh my God," and I'm in my head going, "I haven't seen you here in a long time."
Yeah,
I know I've been there. Where were you at? But I do hope, and I hope that people like yourself and other men and women in the industry start speaking out more about that. Like, look, our livelihood really does depend on people coming to see us live. Yeah. It's one thing to make a record, and it's another thing to tour if you're fortunate enough to do something like that. But if we're playing somewhere, if there's a poetry, even a bloody poetry reading somewhere, like tonight, for example, there's one here at CoPro. That's something we should be in the business of supporting. And turning people on to stuff like that.
Yeah, I mean, that's why, I'm doing my part, and I have been an advocate for it. And of course, I performed at the Promontory countless amount of times. Been a part of some initiatives such as The Corner, which is, celebrating their last Corner series this month. But yeah, my part these days, because I've, you've been on the scene longer than I have, but it just fluctuates. Sometimes, everybody's out. We've seen those times where the promontory is packing, or was cracking and or packed up, and we've seen other places in the scene and community, but now it's different, man. It's a different world, and I'm doing what I can with the technology, of today. I got the Shabrations app, which is really bringing a lot of attention to the underground scene, because it's something even below the surface of just venues. There's a lot of, what they call third spaces now that are activating. And if there is a poetry reading, maybe it is down the street at a gallery as opposed to like an actual venue. Right. And one of the main reasons for that is, accessibility, needing to be more accessible, but then also, some of these spaces, as far as venues, may not be as intimate, or it may be like, bigger, so sometimes some variety is great. And that's what I'm thinking about as far as movements. I think it would have benefited Promontory if there were, 3 or 4 other venues on the south side of Chicago within like a 5-mile radius. You know what I'm saying? Because then there's a variety for the consumers. But then there's also, healthy competition that actually, distincts. It makes each venue distinct, and maybe you can go here one night and you can find something. You can go here another night and find something else.
That's what makes the north side of Chicago very unique, because there is no shortage of places to go. Pardon me. And I think part of this issue is the fact that on the south side of Chicago, venue-wise, with a venue the size of that place, there aren't any comparable joints to go and hang out. And I don't know. I think that's more of a sign of the times. Not to get super deep into the conversation, but if we talk about when you used to be able to go to a house music party in Chicago, and the way we trip over DJs walking down the street, that used to be how it was if you were looking for a party. You could go anywhere, and once the entertainment license thing happened in Chicago, all that kind of stopped. And the idea that it takes a ton of money to be able to put something together, Silver Room Block Party, what they do on 79th, the Renaissance, all of that stuff costs money, man. And people get in their feelings about things, and there's a lot of political nonsense. Cultural politics is what I like to refer to it as. Instead of just saying, hey, look, we need multiple places so that everybody gets a chance to get their voice heard.
And also, hey, it's Chicago. You know what I'm saying? This is one of the largest arts and cultural hubs in the nation.
Yeah, no doubt.
But the struggle is so real with the art, with the creative community, especially performing artists, because we're dealing with the PPA license as an issue. You know what I'm saying, for venues, and we need spaces. That's kind of like the other half of what we do is the space that we do it in.
It's imagining if all the artists in Chicago were athletes, but you didn't have anywhere to perform your athletics
or train.
That
the city doesn't care that we just lost 2 of our rehearsal spaces this year.
Right.
Who's gonna fix that for us? Who's gonna provide that for us? So in 2026, there's gonna be a lot more from me as an advocate, a lot of strong language, because something's got to change. This is Chicago. Meanwhile, the arts and culture is literally dying.
Yeah, and
on the south side of Chicago, at least.
For sure. And I mean, because everybody is migrating to places where those things are available. And I'm not gonna do the autopsy of art in Chicago, because I think we're ways away from that. But I do think if we don't start talking about it with a stronger voice and being more adamant of saying, hey, look, we need places to train. That's kind of it. If we take that model of an athlete who can't train, how does he become a great athlete? If there's a writer that doesn't have an outlet to go and do their work, how do they become great? How do people know that they're even good?
I think that was a great question, but I think the better question is do you even care?
That part.
You know what I'm saying? Do you care if this person is incubated in a city like Chicago, or are you going to care once they leave?
Yeah.
I've heard foundations say, how do we keep our artists here? How do we keep our best artists here? Like, yeah. How about you care?
Care a little bit.
Yeah.
It can't all be, because I've sat in those rooms, brother. Trust me. And it can't be all we have a bulldog grant writer and they're just gonna write us to glory.
Right.
It doesn't work like that. And organizations who were once mighty that have fallen off the throne, that aren't as mighty as they used to be. Some of them care too much, and they weren't able to take the care part and regulate it and make it work for not just the artistic not-for-profit, but for the artist that is helping fuel that not-for-profit. So, we were saying 1,000. He's a multi-hyphenate, as I mentioned earlier. New music from you?
Yeah, man.
I say that like Stevie, like you put out an album every 25 years. You're pretty prolific with music, but you got new stuff.
Yeah, and I'm moving more. I've been a full-time artist for over 10 years now, and I'm moving more from just performing everywhere like I used to. 2015 through 19, I was like
you were
humping, but now I want to be more moving. Now I am moving more into being a studio artist primarily, in addition to all the artist advocacy I'm doing. And I say artist advocacy over arts advocacy because I'm really coming from that artist standpoint, and there's more protection that's needed. But as regarding albums, man, and studio work, I've been collaborating for years, but I do have my first studio album, as Sam 1000, coming out in 2026. There'll actually be an announcement coming really soon.
Oh, well, let me know. You can always announce it on this show, brother.
For sure.
You better know it. Hey, look. I mean, you don't live in the neighborhood anymore, but when you did,
I'm just south from here.
Man, the rule is you don't have to tell me you're coming.
Okay, just pop up on
I'm on from 2 to 4. Just fall through.
Got you.
I'm not doing nothing. Play some records, talk. I don't do much in here.
Yeah. Man, this album is definitely going to be like a listening album. It's not a bop, you know what I'm saying? This is a introspective, experimental album that has visuals, animation, even dabbling with some AI with some of the visuals. But yeah, it's some storytelling. It's very eclectic and it's very metaphysical. So this album is going to be very different from anything I've dropped.
I do want to shout out one of the really dope human beings and an amazing artist, Jamila Woods. She's doing stuff with Decomposed, with her sound therapy. Man, I love her voice already, but in that context, it sounds so, it's in you. Like, it's vibrational stuff, man. I don't know if she's going to ever hear that I said that, but if you all, if you know, Jamila Woods is already like an amazing, unbridled talent, I would like to say, but very much in control of what she's doing. But that work that she is doing, particularly the stuff with Decomposed, is a game changer for her.
Shout out, yeah.
And I love it for her.
Shout out Jamila. I wish I could work with her. I maybe one day, her and Decomposed, whether it be together or separately. But yeah, I mean, I've even been doing music meditation as well. It's a big part of what I'm doing these days, just because, the world is crazy and we need more spaces, you know what I'm saying, where we can just have a moment with ourselves and also be in community and not feel alone in it. And the processing of it all,
Yeah, I'm thinking about people like Shannon Harris too, DJ Shannon Harris, long time.
I saw him at the Symphony Center.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. People like y'all are going to be the tune that changes the tune, and I love it. It's what Avery's doing with the poets. It's what you're doing, and I mean, you know what I mean. I'm not worried. I am a little mindful though. And by the way, it's WLPN-LP Chicago, 105.5 FM Lumpin' Radio. It's news from the service entrance, the radio show. We're sitting with Sam 1000. I am mindful, though, that the changes that are happening, they're happening everywhere. It's not one part of our city that's changing. The city is changing. And the voices in the city are starting to change, too. So it's always good to... people want us to be competitive here. People here want us to be competitive, and I keep telling them, like, man, it's a different kind of competition. It's a friendly competition where it's like, I see what dude's doing. I need to get in the room. I got to get in the lab. I got to work. I need to write. And then there's that territorial competition which hurts us, and we are all balancing on the same ball. You know what I mean? We have to be able to find room for each other on that sphere so that we can do what we got to do, because my man Cankles McSlothback and the rest of his merry men out here wilding. They're trying to destroy the earth. And if we don't do something as artists and be the clarion call and tell people what's going on, it'll be on us.
Yeah,
in my mind.
and it is on us. I feel like I feel like we are what's gonna push the city forward. We know the way. You know what I'm saying, as creative artists, and I even got a song coming out in 2026 called "We Know the Way," talking about this. You know what I'm saying? It's time for a turning of the tides. It's time for looking more younger. You know what I'm saying? And me even at 38, man, I'm trying to see what these 24-year-olds are on. You know what I'm saying? Because they are the wave, especially what I'm doing with Vibrations. It's very much a legacy piece, But I feel like the artist community, in a sense, understands the concept of healthy competition. You know what I'm saying? Like coming up when the gala was happening back in the Sidewalk Chalk days, we had this event monthly called the Gala. Man, I remember every time I would leave that event, I couldn't go to sleep. I would have to create something before I kind of settled down, because just the buzz and just being in a room full of creatives, I just needs to be more of that, and I'm just doing my part to be a part of that spark. You know what I'm saying?
Well, let me tell you. And I was trying to get in touch with my man Eric Williams from Silver Room. We weren't able to do it. But if we would have been able to do it, I have an award called the Mario Smith Voice of the People Award. And you would have won that bad boy this year. The stuff you did with 3A Arts, the stuff you've been doing around the city, just in general, seeing you in places. I can't remember where I was. It wasn't it was something. And the Ramblers were out. And I'm like, that's Sam. I was like, what? I'm like, man, he playing with the Ramblers too? It's just like you are in the place. So you would have been the fourth recipient of that award had I given it out this year.
Well, maybe some other time. But the Ramblers, man, so I'm very much a team player, man. I started coming up playing music in bands at the age of 7. And, so I learned a lot at an early age about, the importance of harmony, you know what I'm saying, working together, but then also the importance of practice and how that is distinct from rehearsal. Practice is by yourself at home or whatever, and rehearsal is together, right? So, practicing and putting in your practice to be able to bring something to the table. And I said all that to say I was looking to start some type of initiative that was more of like a citywide, like HBCU reminiscent band, like community band, like marching band type, with dancers, flags, major reds, you know what I'm saying, and of course the drum line and the band. And Mario had just come up from the pandemic from New Orleans. He'd been out there for about 10 years, and of course he's originally from here.
That's my guy. Anybody with my name, I automatically have a special place in my heart for.
Yes, sir. I'm like that with birthdays.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I know like 8 birthday twins out here. Actually, in the city, it's crazy.
Yeah, man.
But yeah, I was like, I could start something else, but I want to join this, man. He's already got the ball rolling, so just being a team player and just, there's a lot of us that want to do cool things, and we got to get past that doing our own version of the same things, you know what I'm saying? Like, let's actually come together and find ways. Even right now, my planning with Vibrations is finding ways how I can get more curators involved with programming, you know what I'm saying? And so, yeah, it's about working together. That's how we move forward.
You have always been one of my favorite people, man, from the very first time I saw you at the Promontory, in fact. And I was like, that dude is cold. And then just the love that you have for your people and the music and how you express, man, is always refreshing to not just hear you, but to actually see you. So when I saw you a couple of weeks ago, I was like, yes, it's been a minute.
And we always run into each other.
Always. Just like that, too. Like, hey. And I know I've said this publicly before, but I'm going to say it again. When we did Love, Love, Love in 2019, there's no way that works out so well if you don't set the tone. You and Earth St. James set the table for that night, and it was on and popping. And I will forever be indebted to you for that. I hope I saw Corey Wilkes a couple of weeks ago, and I went, hey, man, he went, don't tell me you got an idea. And I'm like, yes, I do. So I'm hopeful.
That's how we be, though.
Yeah, it is. So I'm hopeful that 26, 27 we'll be able to present together again. Because this one I think is going to pop. I hope that we have a city-run organization that'll allow us to do it.
Hey, that part.
That's another conversation for another show, because I got some things on my mind about that there.
Man, you could have chosen anyone. You know what I'm saying? So I was grateful to be able to be in your thoughts. You know what I'm saying?
Easy. That was an easy decision. In fact, me and Corey said your name at the same time, which was weird. I'm like, yo, I got somebody to open. And we Sam. Like, yep.
I remember you told me that.
Yeah, it was weird.
This was the band, the Soul Vortex. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
We got a chance to warm up that stage. And we got it to right where the bubbles was starting to form. You know what I'm saying? It was starting to, it was getting warm. Yeah. And then y'all got on stage and just turned up the heat and took that thing to a roaring boil. Man, that night was magical. It was magical.
It's what, 2025, and people are still, they hit me every now and then like, yo, man, what you gonna do? I'm like, we don't worry.
Yeah.
Like I said, when he saw me and I went, hey, Corey, he went, yeah, let me guess. You got an idea, huh? I was like, yeah, man, I do. And I do have a good one. I think it'll work. And that album in particular, Sam 1000 and the Soul Vortex, live at the Promontory, tomorrow celebrates an anniversary.
6 years indeed. The Promontory is very special to me. I mean, I first opened up for some international artists. I opened up for Jose James.
Yes.
Opened up for Kendrick Family Soul.
Yes.
I did a private event for the Curtis Mayfield family.
Yes. I hosted that.
Mardi Gras event. That's right. You definitely hosted that. I was a part of the first iteration of the Corner series. Mm-hmm. Man, played some, many other gigs there as a sideman. A lot of gigs with Harold Green. You know what I'm saying? To choose the Promontory, just like you were saying, it was an easy choice. Yeah. I wanted to record live at a venue, and, what I like to call 53rd Street is downtown Chicago.
Yeah, it is.
So I was like, downtown Southside Chicago is what I call it, downtown Southside. So I was like, man, this is the best place to do this. We premiered six songs this night. No breaks, you know what I'm saying? When people doing live recording, sometimes they do breaks and like, oh, yeah, we got to do that again.
I ran straight through.
Nah, it was a show, you know what I'm saying?
And like we were talking, 2019, everything was fine. The summer ended, we did Love. This happens, everything was fine. We were all good, 2019.
I won a 3 Arts Award that year as well.
Yes, that's what I'm saying.
It was a big year.
Moving right along. Everybody was doing well. We were all eating. We all had steak with the beans and rice, to quote the great
wasn't there a Silver Room Block Party that year?
Block Party was 2019, yeah. That was like before COVID. That block party was crazy.
That was crazy, yes. That's the one we was like walking through them streets.
Yes,
like,
it was tight.
Yeah.
I couldn't go see Avery. He was doing something. I couldn't get to him. I've never not been able to walk around in Hyde Park, and that bothered me so much. I'm like, man, I can't see my boy. This ain't good. And we learned from that, though.
Yeah.
Look, man, you are the greatest. I love that you managed to stop by. I'm glad we worked that part out because we were going to do this on Zoom at first, but I'm glad that you came.
Like in person, man.
Yeah, this is always good. You know, I said it earlier. You don't have to tell me you're coming.
Okay.
You stop by. You come through with the Ramblers one day.
You here every Thursday?
Yeah.
Okay.
Usually. I'm not going to be. I'm doing an announcement on the show. I'm taking a Christmas break.
Okay.
And the show will be back on the 9th. After next week will be our last show, but yeah. If you see the post, that means I'm here.
Got you.
Love you, brother. Thank you, man.
Love you too. Thank you so much for having me on, and also thank you for just all the love you've shown. You know, what I'm saying, and support over all these years.
Look, if you're dope, you're dope. If you're not, I don't support. No, I'm kidding.
Hey, support the dope. As my friend Carla Brown says.
Support the dope.
Yeah,
that's a T-shirt.
Actually, she's branded. Yeah, support the dope. Yeah, she's got her own radio show and everything.
I need to talk to her because she got to give me a shirt.
Yeah, I got you. I connect you to her.
I gotta get that shirt just so that my family could be like, "Why are you wearing a shirt that says support the dope?" I'm like, well, let me explain. Thanks, man. We're gonna listen to a cut from this album, Sam 1000 and the Soul Vortex, live at the Promontory, Restwell Promontory. This is called Look at Us, live at the Promontory. It's WLPN-LP Chicago, 105.5 FM, Olympic Radio. It's news from the service entrance, the radio show. Thank you, man.